office. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, poopy.
You got tile in that room?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll probably put a rug in though at some point. Which do you think that might help?
Yeah, maybe a little.
I'm curious what this sounds like. Then you're making me nervous.
It just sounds like you're in a kind of echoey room a little bit.
Maybe I'll open up the door. That'll help.
It's not as intimate. I don't feel like Chris is right here with me. I feel like Chris is in a soundstage somewhere.
Have to figure that out. Okay. All right. Well, let's see here. Nice.
1, 2.
There we go. All right, stop talking. Here we go. What the hell's going on? It's not playing. Give me one of those days.
Oh boy.
That's why. That'll do it. If I don't have a sound output, let's test it. Yeah. That's why. Okay, let's try again, shall we?
Okay, ready.
For fuck's sake. Double clicked on me. Here we go. Chris Dazzler here with
Don Pardo.
And on this episode of The First Run, Don and I are going to discuss, I think the word is Wonder Woman. You know, let's do it again. It's been a while. I'm out of practice.
Okay.
Here we go. Chris Dazzler here with
Roddy.
And on this episode of The First Run, Rod and I are going to discuss Wonder Woman, the latest release from the Warner Brothers DC Cinematic Universe. It's been an interesting ride so far. We'll see if Wonder Woman continues our trend of movies. We're also going to discuss It Comes at Night, Matt, a horror film that maybe not so much a horror film. And then, of course, since we've been gone so long, we're just going to do a lounge where there's a lot of stuff that's been happening. I'm thinking there's some Han Solo discussion coming up, but we'll discuss just some general stuff going on in the movie industry right now. But first off, Matt, let's hear a clip from Wonder Woman. And no, you're not going to hear the theme song from the TV show. Sorry. So Matt, Wonder Woman. All right. So if you listen to the show with any regularity, occasionally Batman versus Superman comes up in our discussions.
Every once in a while. Just every once in a while.
And I will, on occasion, defend that film. Though I think that I had recently, Matt, kind of acquiesced a little bit, right? And I think I had admitted to my bias.
Right. Yeah. We like to call that coming to reality. So I'm glad you finally got there.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. So Wonder Woman comes out, and the reviews, Matt, are stellar for this bad boy, right?
Yep.
So let me ask you: are you comfortable saying that the DCU? Are you feel more comfortable now the future of the DCU, or do you think this is just a one-off? Well, I need to backtrack off of that. Did you enjoy it? Is this finally a superhero film from DCU that you can say, you know what, thumbs up, good job, or not so?
Yes, I can unequivocally say this is a very enjoyable film for the most part. It's not without its flaws, and it's not. And I understand, it's a big deal film. I mean, one, like you said, it's the first DC film that's, in my opinion, or at least DCEU film that's been really any good for the most part. And obviously, it's the first film that has a major female superhero as the leading role. So obviously, it had a lot going into this. It had a lot riding on this, and I think for the most part, it succeeds. I don't think necessarily earns. I can understand why it's out there, but it's not this transcendent experience that a lot of the reviews you think would be. I think there's still, if I was ranking superhero movies in general, I would probably still put like maybe 3 or 4 Marvel movies ahead of this. But I mean, it was still really good. It was still very, very enjoyable, and it was by far head and shoulders above anything else that DCEU has put out so far.
I would agree with part of that. I do. I think this is clearly, easily, hands down, the best film that they've put out. Man of Steel, okay. Batman vs. Superman, a flawed film that I do still enjoy. I'm going to stand by that. All right.
I watched it again the other day, and I can't even wrap my head about how you can stand behind that film.
What version did you watch? Did you watch the 3 hours?
I wasn't going to go out and search it. It was on HBO or something, so I'm sure it was a theatrical version.
See, that's the thing. I think you got to watch the extended version of it. It's better. It's better. But yeah, I got to tell you, man, I'm not in the transcendent class. I'm not. But I got to tell you, this is the first superhero film I can remember in a long time that recaptured that Superman feeling for me. Mm-hmm. The rest of them, especially the Marvel group, they're good. They're strong films. They're entertaining. They're all kind of cookie cutter, though, for me. They're assembly line superhero films. They know the formula, and they want to make sure that they nail it. And they typically do a great job with that. But I can't think of a Marvel film that brought that back to me. That feeling the first time with Christopher Reeve. I actually had twinges of that. I felt it again. Specifically, the scene when she joins the battle in World War I, right? When she and they kind of play this up a little bit in the trailer, so I was a little nervous about that it was going to be kind of little, I don't know, I hate to use the term, but like corny, especially with the relationship stuff with her and Steve Trevor. But I mean, Patty Jenkins does a fantastic job with this, and that scene when she rises up out of the trenches, it does work. And that's when I really started to feel that emotion again. And I thought I loved the film because it just was able to stir up some nostalgia and bring back those memories, which none of the other superhero films I've seen so far have done.
And that's fair. I mean, I think that's a personal history coloring your aspect of the film, because you're looking for that Christopher Reeve kind of, you know, innocent or, you know, just kind of more fun superhero films. I would stand by the statement that I think the first Guardians film is better than this. At least I enjoyed it more. I think Winter Soldier in a lot of ways is better than this. But I mean, and that's not to take anything away from this. And I think it's interesting that one of the major criticisms I have of this is it's interesting that you put a ding on Marvel for being very cookie cutter and kind of looking the same and all that stuff. And I thought DC was supposedly going to be, you know, a director could put their own stamp on this, but I'm sorry, especially the visuals in this. This is still Snyderverse, subdued colors. Now, and I get it's in World War I, so that kind of fits, but the whole aesthetic of it is Snyderverse all over the place. So I don't think that criticism carries water, to be quite honest with you. Now, I do think Gal Gadot's performance is fantastic. She's very charming in this. I think she kind of brings that innocence of you know, obviously somebody's been separated from the world kind of thing, and, you know, he's kind of genuinely good, deep, you know, person, and it kind of gives you that piece of kind of, you know, heroicness that is missing from a lot of these films, and that's really what DC is known for, and I do appreciate that. But as far as the action and the way it looks, and that's all it's still very Snyderversary, and I really am nervous that DC, for all of their claiming they're going to be the directors, they're going to let the directors do what they want. I have yet to see any one of them that is not out of that kind of mold that's been established, and it's not a good mold. I mean, at least say what you want about Marvel, at least the Marvel mold is entertaining, even if they all start to look the same after a while. This mold is flawed from the goddamn beginning. So, I mean, it's really makes me nervous for these films.
I think it's too early to say that. I appreciate what you're saying. I hear it, but I think that the fact that all the shots in the beginning of the film at Themyscira doesn't have that. All right, it's much more bright and vibrant, and it's much more, and not like, you know, because Snyder, when he does his films, it's like he's using the dynamic range on his HD TV all the time, where everything's really sharp and bright and sticks out, you know. And they didn't have that when they were still back on Paradise Island, and it was colorful, and it wasn't dour, and it wasn't drained of color. I think that was more a stylistic choice by Jenkins, because we're now in World War I, in the trenches, and the war to end all wars. So I'm not ready to condemn, and I'm sure you're not saying that either, but to condemn these films that they're going to forever be in the stylistic pitch of the Zack Snyder universe. Obviously, Justice League will be, but I don't think Joss Whedon can come in and change the coloring of everything now that he's working on the film. But I'm not ready to say that yet, because I think, again, that was just a choice for World War I settings, because I think in Themyscira, that didn't have that. It was much more natural looking and not that dynamic range on your 4K TV.
I mean, I don't think you're right. I don't think the ship can't be course corrected. I'm just trying to just point out that criticism. I don't think that, you know, it's a criticism leveled against the Marvel films, and granted, I'm biased. I'm much more of a Marvel guy, and I can see differences between the films where people are saying they're not. I'm just saying that if you look at Man of Steel, Batman versus Superman, Suicide Squad, and Wonder Woman, they all have that kind of same aesthetic. So I think when Wonder Woman 2 comes out, based on the success of this, and, you know, Patty Jenkins is going to have more clout, and Gal Gadot is going to have more clout, and they're going to want to do kind of like the successful parts of it, the parts that people liked. I think we may get something much, much more different, which I'm looking forward to. But you're right, the Batman is probably going to look the same way, and that kind of fits because it's Batman. But Justice League is gonna look the same way too, because I mean that's obviously Snyder's film for the most part. But I don't know. I mean, I guess I just kind of bristle at that criticism. That's like, you know, guys, if we're being honest, it's really the same between both studios right now.
Well, yeah. Yes, I guess I can concede that point. I think it's too early. I just think it's too early. I think that I think the Suicide Squad thing. I thought they think the overcorrection was the humor, right? And that's a portion of it, but it's not it entirely.
The humor, because those jokes are funny.
But yeah, and I think I don't know. We'll see what happens. And I don't think Matt Reeves, and we can talk about this in the lounge because there is something interesting Matt Reeves just said about the Batman that I'd like to talk about. But I don't think Matt Reeves is a guy who's going to be held to that. If they are indeed going to allow these directors to kind of put their own artistic stamp on these films.
Yeah.
We'll see about that. A couple of things about Wonder Woman, though. I did have some issues with it. I did. It's a little uneven at times. One of the things, too, is... Well, first off, Gal Gadot, I remember we saw her in, what was it, Fast and Furious? One of the Fast and Furious films. She was in 2 of them, I think. And I remember when they announced her as Wonder Woman, I'm like, all right. Yeah, I just hadn't been overly impressed with her, but I agree with you. I think her performance is very good in this. Same with Chris Pine. Chris Pine is, I think, a lot of fun in this film as well. And again, Matt, we talked last week, the other week, about Baywatch and how Alexander Daddario and Zac Efron need to be preserved genetically. I think we found our second set. I think Gal Gadot and Chris Pine need to be preserved as well. I'm not sure what that's going to mean, but it's something that should definitely happen.
There you go.
So, but here's one of the things I struggle with is that she's a strong female character, right? She's badass. She can handle herself. She's unaccepting of the tropes of the male-dominated society. Yet, we still have her presented as an object quite often through the film. One of the main beats and one of the main humor lines through the film is how attractive she is and how people are impacted when she walks by. You know, like guys stop and turn and all that kind of thing throughout. And again, her fight stuff, she's half naked, basically, when she's in, when she's going into battle. And I understand, I know the logic is that because she's an Amazon and that's how Amazon's dressed, as if they were real people.
Well,
but there's that, so that always, because she doesn't know. In this film, she's invulnerable, basically, right? She has no idea. She doesn't know that, I think, until the final climactic fight when she realizes and accepts who she really is. Because she sees what happens to Robin Wright's character, who I think is great in this, by the way, as well. Not a large role, but I think she's fantastic. And she's using the shield in the fight scenes. Wonder Woman's bulletproof, right? You can't...
Is she?
Shoot her.
That's the thing.
She is.
See, I was confused about that.
I think it's what it is that she doesn't know she doesn't know her origins until later in the film, until it's revealed by our villain, right?
Yeah. See, I didn't know. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, so I think that's what it is. She doesn't realize till the end, because that's when she's able to fly, because she does fly at the end too. But before she kind of jumps, at the end, she actually just floats up and stays there, right? So I think it's one of those things where she doesn't realize her abilities until the end of the film, and realizes that she's invulnerable to bullets and all that kind of stuff. So, but that rationale, and if you go into the true origins of Wonder Woman as a character and who created her, just give yourself some time and Google that, but make sure your safe search is off because you probably won't get all the details. But it's very much, it's a little risque. So she was invented basically as a sexual object.
Right.
So I don't know. It just bothered me. You think you'd suit up a little bit more, And I'm just saying, if we're gonna have a strong female lead, and the whole point is that she is a hero and she can hold the film by herself and she's not gonna take any gruff. I don't think we have to hypersexualize her as well. Still, that's all I'm saying. I don't know. How I get real lefty liberal about this stuff. So.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do, and we love you for it. I don't know. I guess these are my points to your my responses to your many points in there. So first,
please take your time.
Yeah,
I yield to the good senator from Connecticut.
Okay. So I was a little confused. I know, obviously, I'm not a DC guy, so I'm not really up to date on a lot of these characters for the most part. I mean, I've read some stories, some Wonder Woman stories, but I never followed it. I never followed Superman. So I was a little unsure if she was supposed to be invulnerable in this, because I know she is in the comics. And this is the thing about DC Comics is basically, depending on whose comic it is, people's power levels fluctuate to fit the story, you know, kind of thing. Sometimes the Flash is not always the fastest person alive, which should never happen, but sometimes he's not. Sometimes Superman can beat him, which I completely disagree with. But anyway, in the beginning of this, when the German soldiers land on the Amazon island, you know, and they're all seeing guns for the first time, she gets hit in the arm, and like they wrap a bandage around it, and it's got blood on it. And then when they take it off, there's no wound. So I'm thinking,
okay, you're right. I forgot about that.
She can be hurt, but I think she either heals really, really fast, kind of thing. So I guess, you know, if there's some kind of, you know, tripod, not a machine gun, and there's like 6 of them shooting at you, she can still be hurt, but, you know, maybe it's more of a Wolverine kind of thing. Like, she's super tough, but
that doesn't make any sense because. But if you think of it, that doesn't make any sense because in BVS, as we like to call it, in Batman vs Superman,
yeah,
Doomsday would crush her in a heartbeat,
and
she never shows any ill effects from the beatings she takes from him. Right?
Or Ares at the end of this film. Maybe she's just getting stronger. Maybe she gets stronger by the time she's in BVS. Maybe because she's still relatively young and she's inexperienced with her powers, maybe they're still developing. Maybe that's the point they're trying to make. I'm just confused about that. I mean, and granted, this is very comic book nerd minutia, but this is what we do. So this is like, I really want to understand this kind of thing. So yeah, I don't know. That's one thing I was not 100% clear on, is really what her power level is supposed to be. Is she supposed to be basically Superman, or is she supposed to be, I don't know. I really don't know how that's supposed to work.
Yeah.
No.
You know what?
Go ahead.
No, that's fine. I just realized I've been using the wrong microphone for my thing the entire time. So when you've been hearing me, I think that's why it sounds so bad.
Yeah, you do sound much better now.
Yeah. So the Google Hangout YouTube thing has been off of the wrong microphone the entire time. Okay.
Well, since we've been going for 30 minutes on this, let's
just keep rolling.
Let's just keep going.
I think the actual podcast recording app that I use is using the right one, so I think we're going to be fine.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So where was it?
Yeah, we were just arguing about her power level. Maybe they'll clarify that. We'll see. I mean,
could this be in any more of a geek kind of discussion right now, too? We're debating in a fictional cinematic universe Wonder Woman's ability.
Yes, that's right. That's exactly right. And then I guess, okay, and to your point, as far as her outfit, so I didn't view it as hypersexualized necessarily. I mean, it's actually more, you know, it has more cover-ups than the actual classic outfit. It has more cover-ups than what Linda Carter used to wear. Then, you know, on the TV show, it's more armor related. You know, I don't know if they were going for like a Greek kind of Roman kind of thing. I mean, you know, Roman soldiers, they fought with, you know, their legs were exposed, their arms were exposed. They just had kind of like a breastplate and like a skirt kind of thing that dangled down. That's what it looked like. It looked like Greek or Roman armor. So I guess that kind of fit the thing. Now, whether she'd still look like that in BVS times, that can be up for debate. I don't know. You know, I know some of Wonder Woman's outfits are more like a Superman or a Batman kind of thing, where it's like a full suit kind of thing, you know, still tight or whatever, like all superhero outfits are, but it's still, you know, it's like a full thing. So, I mean, you know, yeah, they could go to that. And then as far as the thing about how beautiful she is and how she's always turning heads, I just chalk that up is that it was a part of the time period kind of thing. So this is kind of like coming out of Victorian times, you know, this is World War I, you know, and World War I England kind of thing. So it's still kind of that they're not used to seeing, you know, I don't know, people or women like that. And I think I think that's what the commentary was. I don't think it was that they were trying to make, you know, make a joke about it or anything like that, or, you know, trying to like lighten it. I think they were just trying to establish that that's what the time period was like.
I don't think they were trying to make a joke out of it. I was just more, well, I guess maybe that's what it was. Yeah, it was supposed to be one of the through lines for the humor. I guess that is what I'm saying. And I think part of the issue too is that my reaction and thoughts about it are colored by the fact that I know the origins of the character, right? I know the guy, not that I knew him, but I know of the guy who created it and his story and what he did and stuff. So I think that's part of what it is. I think the issue too is when you're younger, when you're a kid, you just don't think about it.
You don't think about
most
that.
people,
Yeah.
I think most people are almost just immune, or you've seen Wonder Woman as a character for so long, you don't even really notice it. But then the argument, like my lovely wife would say, that's more of an internalized oppression type thing where you do just accept it because that's the way it's always been anyway. You don't, know. So anyway, all right. Well, not to get too far afield. So chemistry between the two, I think it worked great. I think Gal and Pine had great chemistry on screen together. I may have struggled with the fact that the relationship developed as quickly as it did by the end of the film. I don't know if I quite buy where the two of them ended up relationship-wise, if I may. But I think I think the story arc for Pine was good, and I appreciate how it ended. We'll see if he ends up coming back at all in some ways, probably flashbacks type of a thing, maybe, if he does. But overall, I thought it was funny. I thought the action was great. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It is, as we said, a little flawed of a film, Matt, but I'm coming down B+ on Wonder Woman. What do you think?
Yeah, even though I love discussing comic book movies because you're so biased to DC, I'm so biased to Marvel, and we disagree a lot. I think ultimately we know what we're talking about, except when it comes to Batman versus Superman. I would agree this is a B+ film. This is very enjoyable. The action scenes are fantastic, up to maybe the last climactic one, which is a little hard to follow because the CGI is not necessarily great. It's a little too frenetic, but that's it's
the most Snyder-esque scene for me of the entire film.
Yeah, it is. It really is. But I mean, that's a minor quibble. I mean, the World War I kind of battle scene stuff is fantastic. So yeah, it's a really good superhero movie. We'll see where it lands out as far as in the summer, after our summer of superheroes, where this ends up in the final ranking.
Yeah, interesting. We'll have to see how that all rolls. It's clearly heads above though any other DC cinematic universe film.
By far,
hands down.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy the death and the dodge in regards to our villain? Did that work for you? Did you figure that out as we were rolling?
Yeah, I figured it out as we were rolling. But it was fine. Although it just seemed kind of ridiculous with that person's face on this kind of huge muscular body kind of thing. It was kind of funny to see because the guy looks super British. I'm rooting it. I'm sorry, spoiler, but the guy looks super British. He does not look like some kind of Greek god. Let's just be real here.
Yeah. I still enjoyed it. I like the fact that she was so sure about what was happening, and then well, anyway.
Hey, man. Even our perfect superheroes need flaws. They're no fun. This is my criticism of Superman. He has no flaws. So that's why every story with him is extremely boring.
All right.
Out and all that kind of bullcrap.
If you got a chance to see Wonder Woman, shoot us an email at feedback@thefirstrun.com. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Matt, let's talk about what's coming up on Blu-ray and DVD. We've been off for a few weeks now because I have moved. I'm still setting up the home office / studio. We're getting there. But we're getting there. So here's there's the 5 biggest releases between June 13th and June 27th. All right. Number 5 on Blu-ray is the Pink Panther film collection. All the Pink Panther films involving Peter Sellers are being released as part of a Blu-ray set from Shout Factory, which includes, of course, the Pink Panther, which is not really a Sellers is in it as Inspector Clouseau, but he's not the main driver. Then there's Shot in the Dark, Return of, Strikes Again, Revenge, and then Trial of. So you can pick those up on Blu-ray. I have the old DVD set, actually. Dario Argento's, is it his first film? Or his first big giallo, at least, is Bird with the Crystal Plumage. It's being released by Era. Includes a brand new 4K restoration from the original camera negative. There's also a original mono Italian and English soundtracks, lossless on the Blu-ray. Comes the DVD version as well. A whole bunch of stuff, new audio commentaries, interviews, analysis of the film. And if you buy it now as part of this original release, Matt, you get a limited edition 60-page booklet illustrated by Matt Griffin featuring appreciation of the film by a whole bunch of people, so you can check that out. One of Danny Boyle's best films, Matt, Trainspotting 2, is being released on Blu-ray. I did not get to catch up with this in the theater. I really want to. So I finally can. Include some deleted scenes, audio commentary with Boyle and the screenwriter John Hodge, and a 20 years in the making conversation with Boyle and the cast. The Lego Batman movie was released as well. If you get it from Best Buy, you get a steel book. Target gets a Batgirl Lego mini figurine. And Walmart, you get a lunchbox, so you can get that, Matt, for your daughter. What do you think would you want? The Best Buy steel book, the Batgirl Lego figurine, or the lunchbox? What would you prefer?
Either the lunchbox or the figurine. She'd probably like the Lego figurine, so that's the one I would go with.
All right, so that's Target for you. It includes 4 new animated shorts. A short on, I guess their next film is Ninjago. Some deleted scenes and some other stuff as well, including director and crew commentary. And of course, Matt, for me, the big release, John Wick 2. Came out. If you get it from Best Buy, there's 2 different steel books. There's audio commentary featuring Reeves and the director Chad Stileski, some deleted scenes, and a whole bunch of other stuff in the making of the film. So we were pretty big fans of John Wick 2. We'll have to see what happens with the John Wick, The Trace. I don't know. So they're going to delve more, Matt, into the underworld, alternate world of the John Wick universe for the 3rd film.
Hey, so. I'm with him. I'm on board so far. In fact, I didn't buy it, but I did rent it tonight, so I'm going to go pick it up later so I can watch it again today.
Good times. That works for me.
Ooh, what is that?
It's my live cell phone, which is Khan, was Shatner screaming Khan from Star Trek 2 when I get a text.
Oh, very nice.
See, look, you can see it right there.
Yeah. I can't read it, but yeah.
All right, good times.
No, you might want to turn off notifications too, because God knows what's going to come through there.
I know, right? A whole bunch of. All right. Anyway, so that's fun. And then what else? When I have a voicemail, it's the opening music from Dawn of the Dead.
Nice.
From Figment, which is fun.
Yeah.
You're welcome. All right, your straight to DVD pick of the week is Alienator. If you want to do yourself a favor, watch this just trashy, cheap 1980s sci-fi film. Alienator. In deep space, the deadliest animal is still woman. It's a futuristic fight to the finish when the commander of a space station prison, played by Stringfellow himself, Jan Michael Vincent from Airwolf, takes on a galactic arch-villain named Cole, Ross Hagen. If you're familiar with Mystery Science Theater, Ross Hagen was in a few of those films, I think Side Hackers, and I can't remember what else. Oh, the one with the hippie gang. When Cole escapes on the verge of his execution, the commander has no choice but to unleash the Alienator, a ruthless android hunter with one unstoppable purpose: terminate Cole at any cost. Cole's shuttle crash lands on Earth, Matt, and the Alienator is hot on its trail. She's determined to capture her prey, even if it means blowing away everything and everyone in her path. This alien Terminator mashup with a woman who's half naked.
So it's like Species too.
Sure.
As Species as well.
So there
as
you
well,
go.
I should say.
So what should we be streaming?
Well, I mean, woman is the most dangerous person in the universe. I'm glad that they've really went out on a limb on that one. Okay, so I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna pick 3 movies for you guys. A family night. First, when you're hanging out with the little kids. Available on Netflix is Disney's Moana. If you haven't seen it, it's kind of going with Disney's recent win streak. It's actually very good. I don't know if it's Frozen good, but it's still really good. And at least the songs aren't super played out like they are in Frozen, where you want to kill yourself after you hear "Let It Go" one more time. So
I haven't seen either of them.
You haven't seen Frozen?
No.
You haven't seen? Oh wow. All right. Yeah, you should check those out, Chris. What the hell?
Kobu, is it Kobu with the 2 strings or whatever it is, 3 strings? That's on Netflix too, which I heard is really good. I want to watch.
That is really good. That is really good. That is very good as well. Maybe for a little older kids, I wouldn't say like your toddlers, 5, 6-year-olds, but 7, 8, they would probably follow it along a little better, just because it's a little complicated.
What about older adults with no kids? Can I follow it?
Yeah, you can. In the safety of your own house, you're completely okay. You're not the creepy 40-year-old by himself at a kids film anymore.
Which happens every time I see a Pixar movie. Yes.
Yes, there you go. And then for the older kids, if you want to watch kind of a good clean action movie. Doctor Strange is available on Netflix as well. I think we enjoyed Doctor Strange. It's kind of a different take on Marvel magic, and it's got some really cool visual effects in it. So it's pretty good. Just check it out if you haven't seen it. And then lastly, this was a divisive film on the first run for last year, but I'm going to recommend it anyway, just because I think you should see it and make your own opinions. Moonlight is available on Amazon Prime for streaming. Obviously won the Oscar. Excellent acting performances, but it's not exactly the feel-good film of the year, that which is La La Land for sure. But it doesn't. It's something you have to see if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's a stunning film. I absolutely loved Moonlight. So good. Yeah, great. Where's Moonlight available? It's on Netflix?
Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime. I was gonna say. Well, I already bought it. And iTunes had it on sale for like $7.99. So. And they have Get Out right now for $10, which I'm thinking about picking up too.
There you go.
All right. Matt, let's move ahead and talk about It Comes at Night. That's stupid. Here, it's your clip. Matt, who opened the door? The door was open when he got there. Who opened the door? Matt, we are set in a time and there's something happening. There's a contagious outbreak, right? All over the country, over the planet, who knows? And people are dying. And Joel, good guy, Joel Egerton, is held up with his family in a cabin in the woods and finds this guy trying to break into his house. And turns out this guy has his own family, and they decide to bring him in, and then things go awry from there. Now, let me ask you, can you still be a monster movie if you have no monsters? And here's the thing. Yes, okay. Answer that question first.
Yes, because I guess we're the true monsters, Chris. If horror has taught us nothing, we're the true monsters. Hell is other people.
That's right. And here's the thing. I'm not even sure that there are any monsters here, right? I think it's just death and contagion, sickness. I think there's like a school of thought that this is like, you turn into a zombie in this thing with this thing. But no, you get sick and you die.
Right.
So there's the fear and the horror in this is more just can you trust? Can you trust anybody? And is it all inevitable anyway? And I think that's what the horror of this film is. What do you think, Maddie? Was it all scary? Were you on the edge of your seat? Were you terrified? Were you kind of like, oh, that's good. That's pretty good.
Well, I wasn't terrified for sure, but this is a very tense film. This is a very suspenseful film, and I was kind of prepared that there is no titular it, like there's nothing going to come creeping out of the woods or anything like that. And I'm with you. I guess I could see as the disease progresses, maybe you do turn into a zombie. I don't know, but I don't buy it. I mean, I guess I can see why people would think that, but I'm with you. I'm not on that page. But yeah, this is a really tense, suspenseful movie as far as, it doesn't it doesn't explain a lot, which I think is good. It kind of leaves a lot up because ultimately it doesn't really matter because it's really kind of like this character study and just kind of how we are as people kind of thing. But really, even when it goes into a lull, it always has this sense that the other shoe is going to drop at some other point, and you're trying to figure out when it's going to be. And I thought it was very, very successful. I thought it was a kind of a downer, tense film that kind of shows the best and worst parts of humanity, and it has a real gut punch of an ending, which was rough. That ending was rough. So yeah, this is a powerful film. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
There's not a lot of hope in this one.
No,
it's very realistic in that, and that's true. You go back, right? So that's a fair point. There could be zombies, right? Because once you get sick, Pinkerton shoots you in the head, calls it a day,
right,
and then sets you on fire. Right. So, which I think is a natural reaction anytime somebody gets to flip. But yeah, I agree with you. It's all dread and atmosphere for this, right? There is no monster. It's just this kind of inevitable specter of death that hangs over this film. I don't know. It's more about the family struggle, like we said, and who can you trust? And Joel's son is really struggling through, and a lot of the stuff that gets revealed to us gets revealed through his dreams or nightmares or whatever the case may be. So, who did open the door? I don't know if it was Travis, if it was the kid. Yeah. Right? They leave that mystery unsolved.
Right.
Because I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. I agree with you. That's exactly right. You're always waiting for the next shoe to drop. There's always this permeating sense of dread throughout the entire thing. And that single shot at the end of the film, when that's it, there is no hope. They took the chance. They tried to help somebody, and no good deed goes unpunished.
Yep.
So, I don't know. I got to admit, though I really enjoyed this, part of me was hoping for something to come knocking at the door at some point. That opening,
you'd be like something. It's nighttime, and then hello, I'm the titular it. Now it's time for shit to get real.
That's right. Because I think one of the most terrifying scenes of the past 10 years or so was in the very beginning of 28 Weeks Later. I don't know if you recall that, the sequel to Danny Boyle's 28 Days Later. 28 Weeks Later, if you haven't seen it, it's really good.
It is really good.
But it's when they're all held up in the cottage.
Yeah.
And then everything goes to hell. So I don't know if I was just secretly hoping for that kind of a scene to really ratchet up the terror, but it's a different, it's a different type of horror film than that.
Right.
So just go in there. I think this is 44 again, right? Which is our hometown, our home team studio, the one we love the most. Oh, look, little notification from the Washington Post. So anyway,
that's what I mean. Turn off your notifications, you weirdo.
So we got to do, but so again, if you liked The Witch, which Matt and I both really liked, well, that did have an it in it though, but this is kind of similar in that vein of, how do you call it? This kind of side road horror where it's not about jump scares and monsters and things coming at you. It's just about being in that situation and all the horrible things that could happen to you. So I really enjoyed it. Oddly enough, I'm staying consistent, Matt. I'm going B+ again for It Comes at Nights. Yeah, really good. What'd you think?
I think I enjoyed it a little bit more. I'd give it an A-. I probably will be talked down later in the year, but right now I would give it an A-. I really enjoyed it. I can see a lot of this is going to be the same thing as The Witch. People who are really into horror, they kind of fall into two camps. They kind of want the blood and the gore and the monster and the slasher and all that kind of stuff. They're going to hate this movie, and they're going to be very vociferous in their complaints online and all that kind of stuff, which is fine. But this is, if you go into it thinking that knowing that it's going to be kind of like a meditative, thriller, kind of very suspenseful kind of thing. I mean, thriller is probably not even the right word, but this kind of suspenseful kind of tension movie. It's really good. It's really good at what it does. And this is the ultimate test. Would I buy this film when it comes out on DVD? And the answer is yes. I probably will buy this when it comes out on DVD, which is the highest praise I can give it. So there you go.
And I think that Joe Edgerton in this film, rocking just a nice manly beard. I wish I could have that. But I think he nominates himself for the Last of Us. There was no other actor I thought was going to be perfect for The Last of Us. Hugh Jackman. I thought would be The Last of Us movie. Edgerton, strong contender, I think, as well for pulling that off.
Flannel on the short list, too. That's very good.
Flannel shirts, beard, a little gray in the hair. There you go. You're good to go.
Yeah, there you go. Done. Man, the beginning of that movie, it's going to be brutal. Man, the beginning of that's going to be tough. That was a tough,
I don't know if it's
that was a tough 10 minutes. Tough 10 minutes playing the beginning of that game. Anyway, I digress. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. If you have a chance to see it comes at night, shoot us an email, feedback@thefirstrun.com. Matt, time for the lounge. I'm just going to sit back, relax, kick it, and talk about some stuff going on at the movies. We'll be right back.
I think...
We'll not be right back. Hold on. Yes, Matt, go ahead.
I feel like we should have some theme music. Can you go download Bill Murray singing the Star Wars theme as a lounge singer, and that'll be our intro forever whenever we do the lounge from now on.
Oh, that's not a bad idea at all. All right, that'll be great. We'll do that next time, because right now, as you probably heard, we have a little clip from Star Wars featuring one Mr. Han Solo. Let's take a listen. Now that Matt stepped all over it. So, Matt, let me ask you. That, of course, is the classic Kessel Run in 12 parsecs.
Oh, boy.
Moment from Star Wars. Let me ask you. I was reading the other day, too, about that. Maybe you're more of a Star Wars geek than I am, right? So, it's 12 parsecs is not a speed, is a unit of measurement, or is it the other way around? There's like somewhere I've always misunderstood what that meant.
Yeah, so basically, it's a fancy word, but a parsec is a unit of measurement. It's a distance in space that they would use. So therefore, it doesn't make much. People try and go into convoluted knots trying to figure out how him doing something fast is over a distance. So maybe the Kessel Run normally takes 15 parsecs. I don't know, but yeah, it's nerd convolutions. There's many internet boards devoted to trying to figure that one out.
Fair enough. Odds are Lucas just had no idea what he was talking about, and it sounded cool.
That is exactly what it is, and you should just live with it and move on, nerds. As we argue about Wonder Woman's power set.
So one of the things I'm very excited about, as I just mentioned, we've been off for a few weeks because I moved. Brand new, beautiful little house, and one of the things we have met is a brand new 65-inch 4K TV, which I am excited to get right and rolling. The missus, I wanted to hang it on the wall. She wanted to get a big unit for everything. So I'm going to let you guess which we did.
Yeah.
And we're waiting for that piece to come in. So right now the TV is actually on the floor. But the big thing is that my speaker stuff, because the way the new house is, all the home theater surround sound stuff is built into the ceiling and everything. So my speaker wires are coming in today. So our first film we're set to watch as a family is going to be La La Land.
Ooh.
But for me, I'm working through, because she hasn't seen it, I'm working through the Star Wars trilogy. They're going to throw in Raiders. I have a couple other things I'm not quite sure yet. Maybe Mad Max, Fury Road. I'm just trying to think of what's going to be the most fun to watch on the big TV like that with the surround sound and everything. So I'm very excited about that. And
yeah,
go ahead.
I would go Fury Road because it's modern. It's gonna have all the bells and whistles at the very least. Not to say Raiders and Star Wars aren't going to be awesome, but I would go with Fury Road first.
Wow, that was really weird. The sound got really odd, and you got really high pitched. Sound like you were a chipmunk for a second there. Go ahead, talk now. Let's see what's happening. Oh, you're laughing. I can hear your laugh fine. That was fun. Wow, well, people at home enjoy that. So anyway, yeah, no, I think that's a good recommendation. So we'll have to see how that all turns out. And what's funny is I originally bought off of, if you're buying cables, here's our big free advertisement today. If you had to buy cables, speaker wire, and stuff, go to monoprice.com. You can get off Amazon too, but Monoprice, you can get all this, because if you go to Best Buy to pick up like an HDMI cable or something, you're going to pay $30, or you can pay like $2 at Monoprice. And it's the same quality. It's the same thing. So I ended up buying that speaker wire and banana plugs, because my new system, the interface is banana plugs, and that's built into the wall. And I spent hours threading the speaker wire through the banana plugs, and I couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. So I gave up. I was getting so frustrated. I actually went back to Monoprice and I bought the ones that are already done. A little more expensive, but it's done. I don't have to worry about it. There you go. Tales of home ownership. Here we go.
So
lounge.
I want to ask you a question. Did you actually break down and buy a 4K Blu-ray player?
No, not yet. That's next.
Okay.
I still think it's. Plus, I don't know if I'm gonna. Oh, hey, look.
Yeah, no. See,
my order's ready at the Container Store, so I got a new bike rack. Anyway,
now people are gonna be waiting for you at the Container Store right now. Jeez.
So, what was I gonna say? What'd you ask me?
4K DVD.
Oh, 4K TV or player. You know, no, because I haven't bought any 4K discs, so I don't really see the point in me buying the player. And do I need to buy 4K? I'm basically waiting for that film. I'm not going to rebuy stuff on 4K, on the 4K disc. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting for that film. I don't know what that film is, but I'm waiting for that film to come out on 4K, and then maybe at that point I'll transition. Because I remember when I bought I bought The Evil Dead on DVD. It's the first DVD I ever bought. I bought it like 2 more on the DVD player. I was so excited to own that film. But so I'm not sure what it's going to be. It may be Wonder Woman. I'm not sure what it's going to be yet. Could be.
It's not going to. Yeah. I mean, Netflix has 4K content, but you gotta have a lot of bandwidth to play those things, and that's the thing. I don't know. I mean, I know you got really fast internet, but I don't know if it's fast enough to kind of give you that tunnel of 4K.
100 BPS, baby. But I don't know if it's worth. Isn't there an upcharge for that from Netflix? I'm assuming it's going to cost me more money for 4K content.
It's not going to cost you. It's not going to cost you more from Netflix. It may cost you more from your internet service provider again, because it's going to be a huge amount of data coming through your pipeline there. So I don't know. You have to look into it, but the 4K data, the 4K stuff, I mean, and a lot of the 4K stuff is just kind of like, visual shit from like, national parks and forests, so it looks like super awesome on your TV. But yeah, there's things you got to do, but you can look into it. So you got the content there. You just got to figure out how to do it.
The other issue I have too is I'm not a fan of the how hyper realistic it looks. I actually think it takes away from the film when it looks really like you're looking at somebody right in front of you, not a film.
Sure.
Not just a grain, but that cinematic quality seems to get lost when we're that hyper realistic. So I don't know. That's why I don't know if I'll ever do it. The issue more is the size of the TV.
Right.
The living room is long, so I needed to get a larger TV, and you can't really buy a non 4K TV that's that large.
Yeah.
But I don't even think you'd want to, because of the distance that it has to cover.
Right.
So,
all right. Well, I'm sure the folks listening at home are really, really interested in all that stuff that we just talked about.
That's the technical corner of the first.
It is. New segment.
Thanks a lot. We can talk about what we want. All right, Matt. The big thing we want to talk about is Phil Lord and Chris Miller getting fired from the Han Solo film. They are months into production. They've been filming this thing for a while now.
Yeah.
But it's creative differences. I guess supposedly you may know more than this, but about this. But from what I understand, they thought they were hired to make a comedy.
Okay.
And Marvel's, or Disney, I should say, says no. So they fired them and they hired Ron Howard.
Mhm.
If this was 1998, I might be excited about that.
Sure.
Now, I don't know. What are your
Right.
thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know either. It's gonna be, it'll be competent. You know that for sure. I don't know if it's gonna blow anybody
Right.
away. You know, I'm willing to give him. You know, had some good films. What's the last thing he's done? Let me look at.
I know that's what that's what I'm pulling up now because I wanted to see. Because I can't remember a film of his recently that I was like, oh, that's such a great.
That's the one.
I mean, he's done some solid films, some really good stuff, but I think it's been a while since he had something that was.
It's those Dan Brown films.
Oh yeah, and they're bad. Each one of them worse than the previous one. So I don't. In the Heart of the Sea, I didn't see that. That's the Moby Dick adaptation thing. I don't think Rush is supposed to be good, but I did not see that again. Yeah, I don't. Jeez. So it's been a. Where else? The Dilemma. I don't even know what the hell that is. Angel Frost Nixon was pretty good.
Yeah.
Cinderella Man, which I think is overrated.
Yeah.
So A Beautiful Mind. Actually, not that. It's a Beautiful Mind that I think is overrated. Cinderella Man's just okay. But I think his last great film would be Apollo 13, right? Which is 1995.
Yeah.
Ransom's a good. Yeah.
I mean, even looking at his entire thing, it's not like I'm blown away by any of his movies.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, Gung Ho, Night Shift.
There you go. Yeah, I mean,
and then there's Willow.
Yeah, which you absolutely hated. You hated it so much. You hated it so much, and that's a Lucas property. Oh, we may be screwed at this point. Yeah, I don't know. I think it'll be competent. I don't think it'll be, I just, that's what I'm worried about. I mean, with Miller and Lord, I think it had the opportunity to be something really different. Now I guess I wouldn't want it to have been too comedic, but I think it, kind of a smarmy, kind of buddy heisty film kind of thing.
Sure.
That's funny. Could have been fun. I thought that could have been really fun, and I think it's gonna be competently made, but it's not. I'm worried it's not gonna have a lot of soul, and I'm really worried that Donald Glover is now gonna abandon ship, although he's signed on. But yeah, I'm really worried that.
How could he? Haven't they already been filming? How would he quit now?
I don't know. That's what I don't understand how it works in Hollywood. I'm not an actor. I have no idea. I don't know if he could just be like, screw this and leave. I have no idea. Breach a contract? I don't know. But we'll see. I mean, we'll see what comes out. I mean, I'm much less stoked about this. I mean, yeah, I think it's gonna be workmanlike is what my fear is.
I've been very nervous about this whole thing from the get-go anyway. I think about casting a younger actor to play Han Solo. I just don't know. Part of that character is Harrison Ford. I mean, he's such an iconic actor that I don't know. I don't know. I'm not so much. Well, I don't know. The Ron Howard thing is just those Da Vinci Code movies are so bad, that I don't know. I'll have to see. I'm not excited about it. I got to admit, I'm less excited about this now than I was before, and even then, I was cautiously excited to see it.
Yeah, but I read somewhere that he was actually Lucas was trying to get Howard to direct The Phantom Menace, and Howard said no because he didn't want anything to do. He thought Star Wars was too big, and I think the reality is he read the script and he's like, God, this is a piece of garbage kind of thing. So maybe this gives it a little hope that it's at least a decent script and the actors are doing all right in what he's seen. So I don't know. I'm with you. I'm much more subdued now. I'm still cautiously optimistic. I'm still gonna go see it. Like, who am I kidding? But I don't know. Maybe we'll be pleasantly surprised. We'll just have to wait and see.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Rogue One hits
confidence
in July, so you can watch that again and feel better. All right, what do you got?
All right, so we spent a lot of time talking about Wonder Woman. So earlier in the week, or maybe it was at the end of last week, there was a bit of a blow up here. So this thing is making money hand over fist, and it came out that Gal Gadot's salary was $300,000 to star as Wonder Woman, and this got a lot of traction on Twitter and social media as evidence that this is income or wage disparity in Hollywood, and especially because Henry Cavill made $14 million for his role in Man of Steel, his first superhero role. So I guess, I kind of wanted to see where you came down with this. I think there's a lot of extenuating circumstances that we can talk about, but I really kind of wanted to see what you thought, Chris.
I haven't honestly been following it that much, but so Gal made $300,000 and Cavill got 14 mil.
Yeah.
If this is true, which I would be surprised at, but if this is true, I think I don't know what to think. I don't know what to think about it because
all right,
I'm trying to match them up, right? So Cable prior to that didn't exactly have a large, glorious,
right,
work behind him. He didn't have a lot of stuff. He wasn't that well known. He did that god awful Greek god film thing. I don't remember the name of it. I remember because I saw that because after he had just been cast as Superman. I remember seeing that oh, this is Superman. I better go see this movie.
Right.
And it's horrible. But I can't think of, he was more of an established presence than Gal Gadot, sure, but he didn't have anything really to build off of. And I don't know if it's because it's 14 mil because they're locking him in for a whole bunch of films.
Right.
Or I don't know. I mean, like we talked about earlier with my concerns with how she looked, if this is all true and accurate, it is BS that she got $300,000 if he got 14. There is no way to justify that for a film that, I don't know, they think Wonder Woman was much more of a risk than Superman, so they didn't want to throw as much money in it. The whole film's budget was $150. And we could give her at least. This is gonna sound horrible. She should get at least half of what he got, which is a stupid thing to even say that she would get at least half. I guess because wasn't established as an actor, and they don't. No, it's BS. No, there should be.
Well,
I can't come up with a reason why there shouldn't be pay equity between the two of them. And if we want to get down to it, her performance in Wonder Woman is better than any of his performances in these other Superman films. Though I don't know how much. I don't know how much.
I mean, that's a low bar. That's a low bar to hurdle, but still, you're 100% right on that part.
But I don't know how much of that lands at the feet of Cable. I don't know if that's more of just horrible scripts. I think he has maybe 20 minutes of dialogue in Man of Steel. I mean, if you watch that, he barely talks in it at all. It's more visual spectacle. And then our boy, what's his name there, chomping all the scenery, which of course we love him for. Yeah. What's his name there? Yeah. So, no, it's BS. It bothers me. It's ridiculous. Yeah. What do you say?
So this is. I'm gonna tell you this, Chris. This is not fair. I'm sorry I did this to you. I baited you a little bit because I expected you to be a little more informed than this. So I will say this. So
it's the move, Matt. I've been so out of everything with the move that it's. Sorry. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. So here's a couple extenuating circumstances. So I'm just gonna put this out there. Now, this seems to be, for the most part, standard for this kind of low salary for a beginning superhero movie. So, obviously, RDJ got paid a lot more to play Iron Man, but this is Chris Evans, who was arguably a much more established star than Gal Gadot was. He got paid $300,000 to play Captain America in the first Adventure. She's actually making more than Chris Hemsworth got paid to play Thor in the first Thor movie. So it seems to be the pattern of let's see how this goes, and then let's see what you do, and you can renegotiate your deal for the first one. And if this thing tanks and bombs, we're not beholden to you for anything, and we have more leverage to pay you a lower salary. So I guess that's part of it. That seems to kind of be the standard of how these superhero films work, especially for relatively unknown actors. And then I guess the other thing about Cable is that $14 million is a little misreported. Now, I think he did make more than, I think significantly more than $300,000, but most of that $14 million was actually back end, like writers built into his contract because of how much money it made. He got paid more, and I don't know if she has the same kinds of.
RDJ the same thing, man. I'm seeing here he made his base was $500K, But the film did so well, he's since made $50 million off of Iron Man.
Right, exactly. So that's the same kind of thing. So I don't know if Gal has those same kind of things built into her deal, but I mean, it's obviously on the surface, it's very bad, especially considering how bad.
You set me up and look like an idiot. I don't need your help. All right, it sounds like I don't know what I'm talking about. So I'm going through this article on PolitiFact. They're talking about it too, and they said that actually Henry Cavill made less than Amy Adams did for Man of Steel. And that he actually made in the six figures, not in the millions. He was paid that, but like you said, it was more the residuals and what else was in the deal.
Yeah.
So you just wanted to set me up and make me look like an idiot.
Well, no, I didn't want to make you look like an idiot. I just thought you'd be really up to date on this stuff because this is the kind of stuff you're up to date on, and it would spark a good discussion.
No,
I was very surprised in how you answered.
I've been so out of all this stuff for so long that I know I'm just getting back in the loop now. I can't tell you how house focused we've been. So, and it's Lauren Duca, who is rather famous for having a really fun interview with Tucker Carlson on his show once. If you want to go look that up on YouTube, that's a good one. Yeah. So, all right. Interesting. Fair enough. So, thanks for bringing that up, Matt. Let's talk about. I'm saving one thing I think for the end. I don't know if you're going to bring it up. Involves a certain greatest living actor of our time.
Yeah, let's do that last.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to go with first this one. It was just announced recently that Dazzler is going to be an X-Men Dark Phoenix. Roller skates or no roller skates? What did happen?
Yeah, I guess. Maybe. Well, it is the 80s, right? Is it going to be? It was the late 80s in the last one, so maybe early 90s. I don't know. I'm going to hold out hope that they're going to the roller skate's going to get a brief cameo before they get ditched somewhere along the way.
They have to. So if you're not familiar with Dazzler, she was created in the disco era over at Marvel, and she has this ridiculous costume that looks like basically it's Travolta's suit from Saturday Night Fever, but with no shirt underneath. It's just,
Yeah.
So, and her ability, it's basically she's Jubilee, right? She's able to turn sound into light bolts powers or something. And I hate Jubilee. So I'm glad. I've always said, why not just use Dazzler? So we're going to get Dazzler. But yeah, I agree with you entirely. There'll be one scene in a roller rink when she's like younger or something.
Right.
And she has a thing where she first exhibits her powers. That's exactly what, and it better involve a disco ball. Has to.
It better, or Chris is coming down there. Damn it.
That's right. Not after that horrible Apocalypse film. You got to give me at least this one olive branch there, Fox. All right, I'm glad we got that out of the way. What do you got?
I'm glad we did too. All right, so the Sony Marvel universe, which is horribly named, I'm going to call it the Spider-Verse from now on. They've started to announce a bunch of their spin-offs, and I guess Tom Holland's going to be in some of these things. They're going to connect. He's going to be the kind of through line for the MCU Spider-Man and the Sony Marvel stuff, which I'm not on board with. But I mean, Chris, does this thing sound as much of a disaster to you as it does to me? I mean, we're going to get a Venom film with barely any Spider-Man in it, and we're going to get a Black Cat and Silver Sable film, which I don't think anybody even knows who that is except for the hardcore Spider-Man nerds like me. And then we're going to Kraven and a Mysterio film. Frickin' Mysterio, Fishbowl Head, is going to get his own movie.
You think he has the fishbowl? He doesn't have the fishbowl. There's no way.
I don't. How does he not have the fishbowl? Maybe it'll be one of his early costumes. He comes out in the green with the purple cape and. Yeah.
There's no way they do the fishbowl. Yeah, no, I didn't know about the Black Cat Silver Sable film. That's interesting. If you're not familiar too, Black Cat is. I think she'll be young because the whole thing is that her and Peter
have a thing. They have a thing.
They have their boyfriend girlfriend for a while.
They have forbidden love.
Mm-hmm. And Sable is basically a mercenary, secret agent type character. But I don't know.
Name Silver and Black.
Oh, there you go. I did not know that either. Yeah, I don't know. Are they saying like it's supposed to be real edgy, the Venom film? So we're gonna have Carnage as the villain.
Yeah.
Great.
Venom's a villain already. Venom works better as a villain. This is what drives me crazy.
Well, it's going to be the anti-hero version of Venom, obviously.
I hate that.
But how do they explain it? They're not going to work in the costume, the symbiote, into the regular Spider-Man universe, right? Unless it somehow
in Infinity War
shows up at the end of this. What is it?
When does Infinity War come out? The first one next year?
A year? 2 years?
2 years?
Is it a year away?
See, I guess they could do it if they did that, but I don't know.
That's the only way I can think it makes sense if they do it is that. Well, no, they're just not going to do it. They're not going to do it that way. But he gets the, like in Secret Wars, he gets the costume when he's off world.
Yeah.
And he comes back, and then eventually, he gets rid of it, and it finds Eddie Brock, blah, blah, blah. They're not going to do that. Eddie Brock's probably going to be some scientist that's investigating some crashed meteor, and the thing comes out and grabs him, blah, blah, blah. That's what's going to happen, which is too bad. Because I think part of the appeal of the character is it's linked to Spider-Man and Peter, how the costume still, or the symbiote always still wants to really be with Peter. Mm-hmm. And he's just, using Eddie Brock as a way to kind of get him back. Anyway, I don't know. Yeah, it's the only thing that gives me any hope is that it's got our boy in it, Tom Hardy. It's the only thing.
That's a big plus.
And it kills me because the fact that he's going to do what I'm convinced is going to be this lackluster Venom film is it's something that potentially keeps him from becoming the next James Bond, which is something that has to happen. Has to happen.
Get on it.
So I don't know. Yeah, whatever. I don't care. I don't care. I've been burned by these Spider-Man movies so badly. Spider-Man 3 and then Amazing Spider-Man with Mark Webb's series. We'll see. I don't care. I don't care. Sony, you done effed up now. So yeah.
Spider-Man Homecoming, I have faith. It's going to right the ship of my favorite character.
Yeah, but because Sony doesn't really have anything to do with it.
That's true. Yeah, I completely agree with you. What do you want to?
All right. What is it?
I want you to. I didn't realize how late this was, so I have to go pick up Emmy so I can take her to swim lessons. So let's finish this up with our big question.
But I want to talk about Hitchcock and Batman. We'll do that another time. All right.
Okay.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
No, you want to?
No.
Daniel Day-Lewis
is retiring. Bullshit. It's BS. It's BS, Matt. He's retiring until Soderbergh or somebody says, hey, why don't you come back and do this role like in 3 or 4 years? He's going to come back. They all do. I don't want to hear it.
Think so?
Oh, yeah. He's not. What? No. You're telling me that P.T. Anderson says in 5 years, listen, I got this role for you. It's perfect. There will be 2. But you go on trial. You've been in jail now, and you escape. You and Clint Eastwood are going to escape from this prison. The Rock, Sean Connery is going to be there. It's going to be awesome. No, I think it's BS. I think it's listen. I'm sure he's convinced he's going to retire. I can't imagine he's going to spend the rest of his life making shoes. I think at some point he will come back for something. He will show up in a movie within the next 5 to 10 years. I guarantee it.
Guarantee it, huh? Wow. I don't know, man. This is Mr. Method. This is Mr. Commitment to his commitments is really what this thing is. So I don't know. I mean, I can see him doing some stage stuff because the craft is in his blood, but maybe we'll see. I mean, I would say never, but I think it's going to be longer than 5 to 10 years. I mean, he's going to be rolling out of here like, geriatric at like
how old is
20
he now?
Years from now.
Isn't he almost 60? He's 60, isn't he?
Is he? Is that old?
I don't know.
Oh, wow. Not as old as I thought he was.
Let's see.
Or he's older than I thought he was.
Yeah, he's 60. 6 years. Well, maybe. Yeah, you know what? I don't know. Have they cast Mysterio yet? Mm-hmm.
That would be amazing. He would insist on wearing the fishbowl throughout the entire thing, so nobody would know it was him.
Yeah, great. Fine. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna. I think he'll be back for something. No, the work is too important. So I want to get me some Daniel Day-Lewis shoes. I don't know what they go for, but they got to be pricey.
They got to be very pricey.
All right, let's get you out of here, Matt. Let's wrap up the show. Next week, it's going to be Rough Night. And then I don't know what else. And after that.
Raw?
What is it? Raw. Oh, maybe. Raw. Yeah, that's good. Baby Driver is after that, which is supposed to, every time I hear people on Twitter raving about Baby Driver. So was it Ryan Johnson? Somebody said the first 10 minutes of this film should be used as like a master class on filmmaking. You should make that, or at least that should be the trailer for this film, and it's absolutely fantastic. So I can't wait to see this thing. But first off, rough night.
But first we have a palate cleanser.
That's right. And the Beguiled's coming out too, as well. So lots of stuff coming up. Check us out on YouTube. We're also on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Just do a search for The First Run. Scroll. Eventually you'll find us. Shoot us an email, feedback@thefirstrun.com. Matt, let's take a not quite as extended break this time. And we'll see you all soon.